Hello, Gemini, and welcome to Cosmic Brew Tarot. I'm Oscar, and also welcome into my new recording space. Actually, this used to be my old recording space, but I had a roommate living here in this room. So I had to kind of like, that's why I've been doing all of my readings in on my bed in my bedroom because I just didn't have my space to really like a quiet space anyway to go ahead and record with all of my professional equipment and yeah, I'm excited. I have my webcam and my microphone and all that, and just my own little space just for me and for us. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to be doing a 2024 reading. This is going to include a retrospective of 2023, what we've learned, what we have experienced, what we're still maybe carrying into 2024. And then we're going to do the best advice and movement to go forward in 2024. And I'm doing 4 specific areas that I have pulled from the Spellcaster's Oracle. So we're going to talk about love, we're going to talk about career, we're going to talk about prosperity, and we're going to talk about new beginnings. Also, happy holidays for everyone who is celebrating. It's actually, as I record this, it is Christmas Eve, and yes, this is what I'm wearing to Christmas Eve for my own particular reasons. um, but yeah. So before I started this reading, um, I had this, and I still even feel it now. I have like this heaviness, not quite in my heart, but like below it and more center. It's almost like a shortness of breath. And it's like, and it's not a physical, how do I put this? It's not like an ailment that I have right now. I'm literally just like, this started as I was setting up this read. Excuse me. This started as I was setting up this reading, and because otherwise I was like feeling great. I was feeling calm. I'm like, yeah, I'm so blank and chill. So I don't know what energy I'm picking up on right now, but feels it feels unrelaxed. It feels unsteady. I feel like it's like tachycardia. Um anyway, as a reminder, this is a general reading for the sign of Gemini, which means that not everything applies to every single Gemini, which means that this is a perfect time for you to utilize your intuition and your discernment, to train it, to have an understanding of how it applies to you, and leave what does not, because you do not need to be picking up energies that are not yours. You have plenty to deal with already. Okay. So, oh, let me take a sip of tea. I honestly, I had to sage the room and everything. Like something was just, and I still feel so unsettled. And funny enough, I had actually started a Gemini reading after I'd finished Taurus, but I had to stop because I was recording it on my phone and my phone was running low on battery, and there was just. But anyway, that reading as it had started was very heavy, and then I realized I had to stop because of the battery. That might mean something for you, right? You have to stop because you got to recharge your batteries. It's too heavy. For 2023 in love, we have peace. You know, it's interesting. This piece where she's like holding her hand right here, that's where I'm feeling the tension that I'm talking about. So it's like I don't know if this doesn't feel like peace, you know? But at the same time, it feels very powerful, right? I don't feel scared by it. It just feels very powerful, and it feels unsettled. It feels like there's an energy here that's just building and building and building and building, and it hasn't been released yet. And these two cards together are really, really high frequency. And I even feel that. I feel like it's a weight that I am carrying for myself and the people that I love. Like I feel settled. I feel fine with having it, but I am experiencing it. And I think what I'm trying to get at here for you is you are settling in and experiencing this kind of love that requires peace, but then that means that not everything is necessarily settled or communicated. Things have to be accepted, things have to be settled into. Time needs to take its journey, space, life. There's it's a very wonderful energy, but it's also when you can't pour that out in the way that you really wish that you could direct it, it feels heavy because what do you do with this other than just feel it and wait for it to pass? Hmm. Let's get some clarifiers on this. So again, this is 2023. I would say that your experiences this year, particularly in love and relationships, have really culminated in that feeling of what do I do with all of my love? What do I do with all of this? This spare, um, this unexpressed love that I have accepted has to remain unexpressed, but I'm just feeling. We have Eight of Cups in reverse. So kind of like, do I stay, do I go energy. King of Cups in reverse. Okay. Moodiness. And the Fool in reverse. You know what's hard about a feeling like this is allowing it to affect your external world would be very, very foolish and reckless. And you know that. So you're carrying all of these feelings by yourself, wondering, what do I do different so that I can stop feeling this kind of hard love that I accept I have, but for whatever reason, I can't express it in the way that feels best to me. If this was all right side up, this is beautiful. In reverse, this is like, no, no, I can't allow myself to express these feelings in the way that I want. These are feelings that have to be expressed over time, over little actions, you know, because as it stands, you're not even certain that you like having these kinds of feelings because with this stay and go energy, with I'm literally feeling it, like how imbalanced it makes you feel and how you just want to impulsively do something, cut someone out of your life, run away, get revenge. I don't know. Like you have like these a lot of thoughts basically that to me are saying What do I do with all of this that is constructive rather than destructive? And you've had to make peace with this feeling, because if you can't outwardly express it, you have to feel through it all on your own and decide what to do with it. Hmm. As I'm saying it, it's shifting. It doesn't feel lighter, but it feels like I'm shifting my mood. It's almost kind of, again, it's helping alleviate the gravity. Not the weight, but the gravity. I have to ask, like, I don't know if it's necessarily that the feelings aren't good for you. That would probably been something that my past self would have said, right? These feelings aren't good. These are really heavy. Love should be light. It should be freeing. And I still agree with that. But for me, this is more of like, this is a love that is unexpressed. And as a result, that's the tension that's coming here. And you've made peace with the fact that you can't express it, which also drives you mad. You're acting peaceful. You're putting on this like brave face while you process a lot and hold yourself back even more and more and more as this like wellspring of feelings is building and building and building and building. You're like peacefully, you know, it's like calming a tidal wave, right? On just by force of will alone. Um, but that process is so internal, it's turbulent inside. And I don't know if that's expressing on the outside or if you're really, really taking everything you can to hold back being turbulent on the outside in order to maintain peace. I think this has been generally the lesson for you in 2023 when it comes to love, is that just because you feel something strongly does not mean that the first instinct on how to express it is the correct one, or even the second or the third. It might not even be a feeling that you can identify yet. Maybe it's something that you just haven't felt before, but it gives you that like, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. And instead it's more, no, it's allow yourself to feel through this and express um in a way that's gentle but honest. And for a sign that likes to be able to speak quickly, move quickly, be witty, etc., this is a hard ask. I tell you this as both as a triple Gemini, Sun, Mercury, and Venus. That's not easy. Let's get a card for career 2023. We have answers. So 2023 brought you a lot of answers regarding your career, both what am I doing with the job I'm in? What do I want to move to next? Is my career it? Like, is this where I want to be? I think you've made peace with these answers, right? I mean, this to me suggests a certain amount of wisdom and peace. And again, this is like really holding this heart space too, again, like this tension, which tells me that you've had an equal amount of weight of considerations when it comes to both your career and your love. Um, in different ways though, because you've actually been able to achieve insights and answer here in a way that I don't feel that you necessarily have fully reached with your love and peace side. Here you've received answers, and you might still be, well, you might be processing those answers, but at least you have truth. You have some answers to go off of. You have something that's a little more objective rather than subjective over here. I'm also seeing a lot of like bird imagery here, right? They're flying over this career tree, and then there's a bunch of birds here, which to me suggests a little bit of taking flight energy, soaring, things flying off, hibernating, or it's not hibernating, migrating. And it feels like you're not the only one that's been going through this either. It's almost kind of like, I think, and this has happened to me, and I'm getting a lot of this energy. Like in the process of figuring out, you know, your situation with your career, in conversations with people, you start realizing some common threads, right? And in those common threads, change starts getting created, not just in yourself, but in the people that you were speaking to, because they start realizing things as well. And then they bounce some things back to you, and then you start realizing things. And in the creation, in the communication, um, we're able to kind of like not fast track, but we're setting the wheels in motion to make the moves that we need the courage to make. Let's get some tarot here to clarify. Palace of Swords in reverse. So this is a special, unique card for this from this deck. It's not in a typical tarot deck. It's meant to represent a place that the court cards in the swords suit would live in, and swords representing mental energy and communication and spoken word. Um, I'll read the entry for Palace of Swords so we can get a better idea here. Ace of Cups in reverse, and the Two of Cups. Here, let me read Palace of Swords. This card shows an environment that promotes. So, as I'm reading this, just sorry to interrupt, and this is in reverse. So, it's going to be basically an opposite effect from what I'm about to read, for what it would look like in the and feel like in the upright. This card shows an environment that promotes clear thinking in the cold, crisp air. The structures rise above the obscuring mist that usually cloud our thinking and are built as observation decks for the purpose of efficient perception rather than luxurious living. The many wings suggest the mind's ability to overcome emotional biases and attain a global perspective. So, this to me is there has been a lot of clouding. You've needed these answers, and you've tried looking at everything from a logical point of view. You've tried looking at everything from practical points of view. Because when it comes to career, it can be hard sometimes to remember that emotion still plays into a satisfying job. It might look good on paper, it might pay well or enough, but do you like it? Do you like the people you work with? Do you like what you do and what comes from it? Is this truly where you belong? Right? Is this your life's work, or is this just an interim in the meantime to get to your life's work? And if it is an interim in the meantime, what are you doing to transition yourself into your life's work sooner rather than just kind of wait around and continue churning the wheel of something that, frankly, looking at this Ace of Cups in reverse, isn't really, it's neglectful. There's something you're neglecting to see, and it's because you can't see it, you have to feel it. That's why these answers are here somewhere in the heart, in this emotional space. This I think this area is the solar plexus. I think. I'm not really that great with chakras, but I believe it's the solar plexus, which, if that's the case, we're talking about confidence, and we're talking about what lights you up inside. And I think it's been hard to see that, because where you have what you've built, your environment essentially has not been conducive to helping you see clearly or to feel clearly. You can sense the turbulence, right? I'm sure whatever was happening in your love life was not helping. But the turbulence that was being created had you start looking at a lot of different things. And one of them was career, and how it isn't contributing to a sense of peace. It's not contributing to much at all. You have to really do a lot of self-care. But with this Two of Cups, this is like a mini lovers card. This is a harmony card. This is two people that see each other eye to eye and respect each other, work well together, love each other on whatever level they love each other on, right? Because you can love someone as a coworker, right? Because you work really well together. I think you're starting to see more so the value of relationships in career, and on having someone who sees you as an equal, or at least sees you as you have the potential, right? I am mentoring you. I see your worth. When I left my job this year and I started working freelance, the person who is effectively my boss told me something that I was just like something so simple. I trust you. And like I've known this person for over a decade now. But when she said I trust you, I realized that means so much, to be trusted again. I think when you lose trust in your workplace, it's very hard to get that back. It's very hard for it to feel truly earned. Um, and you can try and try and try, but at the end of the day, if they just don't, if other people are not putting in the effort and giving you the grace to feel like you matter, it can be hard to really see the value of a job that looks good on paper and that behaves well on paper. 'Let's talk about prosperity, please. 2023. We have forgiveness. Hmm. 2023 has not been as prosperous as you would have liked. Yeah. Um, it's something that seems off in the distance. When I see this rain of gold, I see this rain over here in the waterfall. And here's you seeing everything and really feeling the the ways in which you have kept yourself from a more prosperous and abundant life. And this really starts with forgiving yourself for not seeing it earlier. But the point is that you see it now. And so now, yes, you might have to do some you are going to have to do some work, but prosperity doesn't just come, right? You would have had to do that work sooner or later to achieve the prosperity. So be thankful for the fact that you see that now. And funny enough, here's more birds on the forgiveness card flying overhead. I feel like this does tie to your career. Clarify with some tarot here for forgiveness. We have Ten of Swords in reverse. Yeah. Star in reverse. Knight of Swords in reverse. This has been hard. This has been very hard. And not just hard, it's been devastating. And it's caused you to act out impulsively with anger. Despair. I feel a real heavy despair here. I see you trying to heal. I see you trying to forgive yourself and anybody who has wronged you in some way also in this arena of prosperity. But I feel like you're just letting people have it right now. You're lashing out, you're upset, or you have lashed out, rather. I mean, this is a 2023 retrospective, right? We're going to be moving forward into 2024, right? But I think you can see and I see C because look at this star and how it's depicted in the way that the star here is around this head. And forgiveness, right? It's almost like it's coming from the third eye instead of the crown. This is third eye. So it's like you you can't heal until you forgive yourself. I think you see that. I think you see what needs to happen. I think you see how you have held yourself back a lot with excuses, with finger pointing, with false narratives. And you've also seen how other people have held you back as well. For whatever the reasons, it still hurts. This would have been so much easier on you had you not had to go through whatever you went through, had people not put you through what you've gone through. And yet, here you are, knowing that this has all been a giant shit show, and thus, the best we can do is move forward with much more positivity, which means we have to leave all of this in the past, take our lessons, and rebuild and reforge. I want this star turned upright so that we can have hope again. The star is the card of hope, of repair, of healing, rejuvenation, and in reverse, it's not great, not great. So we're gonna start with that. It's time to start forgiving yourself, and forgiving others, leaving things in the past, because the angrier that we get at it, honestly, like the more that we keep talking about it, the more hung up in the past we continue rather than just letting it be. Like, don't even acknowledge this in a way that has been in like, don't repeat the stories anymore of the wrongs that were committed to you. Instead, repeat what you've learned from it. And in other words, instead of telling the story, show how you have come out stronger as a result of your experiences, which are being left unsaid because it has no bearing or weight on your soul anymore. And now again, I feel this tension here is starting to alleviate, but I'm called again to this tension because you just really, really want to like tell everybody how screwed things have been for you. But you can only repeat a story so many times before finally it's like, okay, well, what are you doing about this? What are you taking away from this? Because if you're just going to stay mad about something in the past, then how are you going to proceed? For new beginnings, in 2023, we have justice. Well, I will say this. You have definitely made this year about rebalancing the scales. You've been taking things that have not been fair, that have not been great for you, and you have been pouring into them. You've been dealing out what you feel is fair to others and to yourself, whether they like it or not. For new beginnings, we have King of Wands, Four of Wands in reverse, and the Five of Cups. Yeah. See, you have a big picture idea. And as it stands, everything in your environment has led is not conducive to your vision, to what you expected of your life. And so you've had to put in a lot of work into making the required changes. But it's been hard because what we're talking about here are resentments, disappointments. What do I let go of versus what do I address? Because I can't address all of it as much as I would like to. What's the overall what's the overall problem that's contributing and trickling down into all of these different areas in my life that seems so out of balance? And I feel like the more and more that you address this and make the moves that you require to have these new beginnings, the more disappointments and what I would consider shadow work basically is dredging up. It's pulling up a lot of negative emotions that you thought you had dealt with or that you had buried, that you had kind of like said, okay, I'm not going to look at this right now because I have other things to worry about. I'm just going to let this sit. And you realize that sometimes when you let these negative feelings sit, they've just festered and they have affected months and months of your behavior towards someone because you never addressed it. And that just breeds further and further disappointment rather than being able to calm something down, to come to a solution. But you haven't lost your personal vision here for yourself and for your loved ones. Okay. Well, let's look at 2024. Oh, here comes that heaviness again because we're going to talk about love. Confidence. I love that. And see, again, we have this glow here. I'm going to pause real quick. Sorry, I just had to make sure that I had a little more privacy. Um, maybe that's your own message. Tired of people intruding on your stuff. So, with confidence, there's this glow again in this area. I think having these feelings to begin with and you being aware of them and sitting with them despite how heavy they are for you is bringing about a certain understanding, a new understanding of the world, because you know that this energy needs to come out and come forth, but it is something that you know must be reserved for those who deserve it. And it feels like you have the strong understanding of both discernment and intuition to know who deserves it, who deserves what from you. When you have all of this swirling love and I don't want to say hate because it's not hate. We'll say resentments, disappointments. We'll say longing. Um, unaddressed needs and desires, right? You have unaddressed needs and desires while simultaneously having addressed needs and desires, like needs and desires that are being met for you while some are not. I think you're realizing the importance of having your needs and desires met. And you having the confidence to go ahead and surge forward with attaining them. I want to clarify with tarot before I say anything definitively, but I'm getting a feeling that's about actions speak louder than words. Queen of Cups. Knight of Wands. And the Nine of Swords. It stresses you the hell out, though. It stresses you out because what you see, we went over here, King of Cups in reverse, and Fool in reverse, this reckless anger, etc., to this, which this makes perfect sense to me. Queen of Cups is someone who is able to embody these emotions, manage them, sit with them, and keep a lid on them. She doesn't have a lid in here, but usually the traditional is that she has a lid on her cup. But she's able to like just feel them and behave appropriately. Simultaneously, you have the Knight of Wands who acts rashly and impulsively, but does so in a way that's just very direct and straightforward and doesn't think, but is very honest to his own needs and desires, right? So this is kind of like being aware of what you need, right? You're feeling your needs and desires. This is acting to attain those needs and desires, and then being stressed out at the consequences of how people react to it, of how you're reacting to it. Because when you go for your needs and desires and confidently so, right? I mean, confidence and Knight of Wands, they go together hand in hand. And I even think Queen of Cups has her own certain self-assured confidence. It's not brash, it's just an understanding of her emotional world. I think you're dealing with a lot of new emotions and needs and desires that are causing you to have to rethink and restructure things in order for these needs and desires to feel met, in order for you to feel settled. But you need to have the confidence to go ahead and speak them. And sometimes even just speaking them is stressful, right? It's kind of what I was saying. Again, swords is about communicating. And when we have the Nine of Swords, these are all of these swords that are hanging over us that we, by not speaking them, we take on all of those. Each sword is a thought, right? So we take on all of these swords, all of these thoughts, all of this churning, these like, what do I keep a lid on? What do I go out and get? And how can I tell the difference? How do I express this in a way that isn't going to cause more confusion and hurt than I've been feeling in 2023? I've had to make peace and accept that I have a lot of turbulence inside. Now I'm parsing through it all. And even so, it's nightmarish. You feel like you're a walking nightmare. And it kind of makes you feel a little bit of a badass because you're surprising yourself. right? I say this with the love confidence combo of cards here. You're in a place of discovery, of rediscovery. And this requires you to be honest with yourself, first and foremost. And it is going to require you to be honest with others, because when you have the Nine of Swords, all of these hanging over you, and you add one more sword, you get the Ten of Swords, where they all just fall down and into your back. If this is weighing that heavy on you, you need to speak with the people that love you about what it is that you want, what you need and desire. And if they are unwilling to give that to you, then you have to make decisions from there. And those, even maybe just the idea of having to make a decision is what is stressing you out. It means that, like, the more and more that I crave this, and the less and less that this person who has been in my life gives it, is unwilling to give it to me, the more that I am feeling unbalanced and in need of getting it elsewhere, which would then mean I'd have to leave this behind. You know, or I have to fight more, or I have to make it understood why I want this, and how do I engender the desire to meet my desire in someone. And you can't really necessarily do that. It's not something that you can force in anyone. It might be something you've also had to make peace with, which is probably part of the churning that you're feeling. So then you're in a place of, what can I live with? What can I live without? And even just the fact that you have to deny yourself something also stresses you out, because then it's like, is that really the ultimate fulfillment? These are big questions, big philosophical questions. And again, you just have to feel at ease with your decisions. At the end of the day, you know, don't do anything that is going to put you in this mental state of worry and anxiety. Don't surprise yourself to a point where you end up having to be put in rehab or something, or where you self-sabotage your life. Don't self-sabotage. You're acting, if you act from a place of true confidence, which values what you have, you can step forward from a more solid foundation than this reverse Four of Wands, disappointment, Five of Cups. Like, nothing has necessarily fallen apart just yet, but you, depending on what you do, you have all of the power to dismantle things that you maybe don't want to dismantle. Or once they're dismantled, once they go away, once you have space and distance, you might realize, wow, that was actually really good for me that I did that I acted and behaved on my truth, right? This Knight of Wands, Queen of Cups. I acted on my truth, even if it was hard, even if the consequences that come from it were bad and caused me anxiety. What I took away from the experience has shown me what I actually value. But I want you to be smart. I don't want you to self-sabotage. I want you to take what you value already and make that part of a solid foundation for yourself. Let's stop second guessing a lot of the stuff, all of your blessings and all of the love that you do have, as it is, not as you want it. as it is and then move from there. Because otherwise you're going to continue tearing down and tearing down and tearing down. For career, 2024, we have freedom. Absolutely. You know, we were talking about this earlier. It Your career has not been giving you something that you need to feel. And I think look at this again. This glow again in this area. Has your career made you feel trapped? Are you getting what you want out of your career? Is your career enabling you to live life? So in other words, are you working to live or are you living to work? Are you doing your dues basically in order to attain the money and time and respect that you require in order to feel comfortable going off and having an adventure somewhere, traveling, starting up a business, whatever it is that you want to take on in the world? And see, we also have on this peace card that we had drawn earlier for love, here's a dove flying away, and now here in freedom is a dove flying away. And this comes back to something I had said earlier about emotions being a important factor in how you look at career moving forward. So keep listening to that. Keep listening to the feeling inside of you, right? When you feel like you're breathing, there's less restriction on you in this space inside of you. That's when you'll have a better understanding of like, yes, this serves me because I get to operate in it in a way that feels expansive rather than restrictive. There's possibilities here that I didn't have before in whatever construct I had accepted for myself. Let's get 3 cards for freedom here. 3 cards for freedom in career. Ace of Wands in reverse. 4 of Cups. Yeah, we're done with the shit that bores us. Temperance in reverse. Yeah, because you know it doesn't do you any good. You know it doesn't do you any good to be working for anybody who makes you feel like a number. You want to be recognized for the gifts that you have. You want to fly. You also want to be successful. And you can't be successful if you're not being seen. And you don't want to be seen in something that you don't want to be seen for. In other words, like, you know, do you want to work do you want to work all this overtime basically in order to meet goal numbers for a product that you don't even really care about, in order to be seen as successful, to be given a little like plaque on the wall with your picture on it for the month, and then, you know, have to start the rat race all over again? And again, that's just me saying an example, but essentially it's like, what does that do for you? Does it feel like a sense of achievement to you? Or does it feel like it's restricting you? Does it feel like it is ultimately not for something that actually matters to you? And you're really, really feeling boredom as a tremendous imbalance. And you're like, I am not doing boring stuff anymore. I'm not doing something that does not excite me. If it does not excite me, I am not lifting a finger to do it. Because I know how it makes me feel to do something because I am forced to do it. Because if I don't do it for someone who doesn't trust me, then it's just going to further perpetuate the lack of respect or trust. In other words, like I'm not rebuilding. I'm not building, I'm not rebuilding. Yeah. Prosperity for 2024. What comes from forgiveness? Happiness. Ah, glorious. Look at this. Look at the similarity in pose here between prosperity and happiness and the flow of energy. I think prosperity really does contribute to a sense of happiness, and especially for you, especially given all of the crap that you have dealt with in regards to your prosperity. The things that I told you, it's time to forgive yourself and forgive others for your current situation. Because now that you see where the windfall of money can actually come from, you can do the work to get there. And when you get there and you experience that prosperity, you're going to be in a completely different space from this hopeless reverse star 10 of swords to happiness. It's the complete 180. Do what you need to do here. Bring yourself the happiness that you know that you need. The thing is, for you to find that, starts in here. For happiness, we have the 10 of coins in reverse. Oh, this card just fell down. It's like, it did a lot of this, so, but it landed like this, so I'll just take it like that. 4 of swords. And the Queen of Coins in reverse. As things stand, okay, whatever structures have been in place before you now know are no longer working for you. They are not contributing towards your overall sense of abundance. Okay, they are not contributing to your sense of security. Matter of fact, you feel really tired and you need to rest a lot. Okay, and you're tired of having to handle responsibilities all on your own. You're tired of trying to get people to do the things that you require to feel settled and happy in this structure. You just want to kick back and relax. Which means, well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, what would make you happy is if you could kick back and relax and people could handle things as well. Because right now, you feel so out of balance and out of sorts that what you deserve for yourself, what you feel you need, what your heart needs, what this space needs, is some rest. But of course, we all have to do our job. We have to do jobs. We have a home to maintain. Like, we have responsibilities no matter what. So it's not like it's just rest and then we're AWOL and we expect everyone to do everything for us. We do have to contribute towards our own happiness and our own success and our own feelings of stability. Whatever is not providing you the opportunity to rest needs to be overhauled. In other words, what are the more effective ways of doing things? What are the new ways of doing things? This to me feels like I want solutions now. I don't want to have to keep playing damage control. I don't want to have to keep putting band-aids on solutions. I want to be able to just have things be easy. Because if they're easy, that frees up space for you to do more things that make you feel more prosperous, that make you feel more abundant. And part of the prosperity and abundance is the ability to rest. Rest is a luxury these days, but rest is actually it's your right. Anyone that tries to tell you, no, you can't rest, needs to go fuck off. Usually when you say, I need to take a rest day, people are amenable to that because they are not monsters. They understand. Everyone needs rest, as do you. So, make sure that what you are doing is allowing you to breathe. It's opening up time. It's opening up energy. It's opening up funds, money. It's opening up a flow. Freedom. Because as it stands, like, you're not here to go the extra mile anymore for things. You're not here to work harder than you're not here to work harder anymore. Harder than necessary. And you shouldn't. It's okay. It's okay to make easy money. Money that is passive income, for example. To delegate responsibilities to people that are now capable of doing it themselves, right? Teaching a man how to fish. For new beginnings in 2024, truth. Pull this back a little bit. Truth. It's interesting. Like as I held this up, like because of the way that the lighting is, it looks like her face is a candle, like a flame in a candle. A flame on a candle, rather. Yeah. You're moving forward from a place of authenticity, of what is right for me, whether anyone likes it or not. You're done with bullshit. You are done with bullshit. If there is one thing that I'm seeing in all of this is that the bullshit meter has reached its peak, and now we are going to have to just take it easy, chill, and be honest and straightforward with like, this is what I need in this moment. This is what I want to from myself in a month. This is where I see myself in a year. I'm building myself towards that. No excuses. No excuses. And if you're going to be in my way, we're going to have problems. Palace of Coins. See? So, like I said, this is an environmental card for all of the um the coins court cards. Sorry, King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, etc., which represent abundance, material wealth, and security, long-term investments. So I'm going to read that for sure. That's very much what I'm talking about. Like, this is what you want to see. This is your truth, right? You want a place that feels, that is abundant, where you and others contribute toward it in order to elevate it to this level. Yeah. Three of Cups. Yeah. This working together, celebrate. And the Page of Cups. Little romance, romantic new beginnings, little dreams, inspirations, you know. This feels like your new beginnings are all about securing yourself and your family into a much better place in order to help you be more social, to reconnect. There's been so much turbulence in all of this spread that it makes me feel like there have been relationships that have been strained along the way. And this to me is like, okay, well, we are taking the masks off or putting them on to reconnect and to just deal with each other again. See, where do we go from here, right? And it's little words of well-wishing, your truths, right? The love that you have swirling around inside of you that has so much complication around it. Distilling it into a single message of, I'm okay. I want us to hang out more. I want us to treat each other in this way moving forward. I want bygones to be bygones. How do we achieve that? Even your truths can be gentle ones like that. Because now this has been a time of you recalibrating yourself so that you can come forward as authentically as possible, and so that you can decide who is in this circle that feeds you and who isn't. Let me read Palace of Coins. The other palaces are fun places to visit, but the Palace of Coins is where we live. Here is where we feel safe and secure, where we can tend to our earthly needs, where we can be kings and queens of our own castle. Here also, we can experience the four elemental energies as fully human attributes: the intellectual owl, the impetuous deer, the moody frog, and the mundane mouse. The mountains in the background are more distant than in the Palace of Wands. The dreams and goals remain, but home is always waiting when we need a rest from the journey. Going back to this Four of Swords and your happiness, rest. You want a home that you can rest in, that you can breathe easy in, that you can rest and recharge in. Invite people in to your home that keep your home feeling like a place you can breathe, and then go out recharged. You know, it's like when introverts say that they have a social battery. Gemini has a reputation for being extroverted and life of the party and all that stuff, but when you are starting to feel this need to, this overwhelm, your social battery runs low. And your social battery can't recharge in an environment, in a home environment. And I look back here at this Four of Wands, that's also part of your new beginnings, this reverse Four of Wands, Five of Cups. You know, that's why there's this King of Wands here. There's a vision. There's a vision for a place that can rest and recharge. And this home that you're currently in is not contributing towards that. And the vision that you have is going to take time. Rome was not built in a day. All of this, frankly, is going to take time. And as I said, Rome is not built in a day, but it starts with yourself, then it starts with your environment, then it starts with kind words, olive branches, messages of hope, and true ones. Don't extend olive branches to people that you don't feel ready to extend olive branches to. Because you've dealt with enough bullshit where there's only so many chances to give. And even then, there's other avenues that you can take with people to make things feel a little more right and a little more settled. But you're going to have to start making decisions here on moving on versus rebuilding and reconnecting versus upholding and cherishing. Let's draw one final message from the Cosmic Journey Oracle to close out this reading. I went a little longer than I expected or wanted, but with messages like these, I'm not gonna skimp on time. Your message. Memento mori. There might not be a someday. Let's read the entry. As my friend Sam Horn proclaimed in the title of her recent book, quote, "Some day is not a day in the week. The time is now. Imagine if the unknown countdown timer to our expiration date was almost at zero. What would you be doing now that's different? How would you want this situation to unfold? One day the sand in our cosmic hourglass will be gone, and then what will you ask for? More time? Sorry. You've had it all along, but what did you do with it? The moments, the days, the weeks, the years. What have you done with your short sojourn here? The clock has struck the exact hour to act. Go." A question for you to journal about or meditate. If I had 10 years left on this planet, what would be truly mine to do? And an action to help you manifest, write exactly 6 words as they would appear on your tombstone, and write 6 different words with your non-dominant hand. It's time to start living for you. It's time to be an active co-creator in your existence, in your best existence. You don't have to be swept along whatever current looks shiniest to you. Or whatever currents you've already been swept on. Be honest with yourself and be honest with others. Because what I see in 2024, I see confidence, freedom, happiness, and truth. And that feeling that I have already feels lighter. Just with that alone. Do what's right for you. All right, Gemini, thank you so much for this reading. If this resonated, please like, share, comment. Definitely comment. I would love to hear about this. Subscribe. And until the next time. Thank you for being a part of this wondrous cosmic brew, and take care and happy holidays.